What's up, everybody? Really appreciate you all for being part of the mix. And we're going to talk about the draft. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit about the free agency, the exclusive franchise tag versus the non-exclusive franchise tag, the time parameters. I know. A lot of people tired of the Dak Prescott saga. Hey, at the end of the day, we would know more about this team right around March the 9th, right? Now, going into, I was just reading and it came across my news feed, and this has been, a couple of days ago. Mike Florio was saying that Russell Wilson got his eyes set on the Dallas Cowboys. And I was like, okay, Mike Florio, okay. And I saw the article that Mike Fisher wrote and said, hey, can Mike Florio show his work? Do we have any gravity to that? And I started to think, and I started looking at everything, and I said, well, it's not a lot of gravity. Not a lot of gravity on it because of the simple fact that it takes two to dance, right? And of course, I know that thousands and thousands of people will say, yes, give me Russell Wilson, give it to me, you know? And they'll try to put words in my mouth saying that, yeah, Law said, yeah, we heard Law. He said that Dak Prescott is better than Russell Wilson. And in my video, all I said was basically, Russell Wilson is an older Dak Prescott. But I get what people are saying. Hey, man, Russell got him a Super Bowl. How dare you say that, Law? How dare you? You don't know football. All of these crazy things have just been thrown at me from left and right. And all I said, Dak never had the Legion of Boom, right? And, of course, Russell Wilson never had that mighty front five, as everybody like to give Dak Prescott that cookie for, right? And say, well, the only reason why Dak Prescott is able to do what he's able to do is because of the front five. And the storyline goes on and on. It's a beautiful story, by the way. Good dialogue, because I get a lot of people to respond back and forth. And it's never about who's better at the end of the day. It's never about that, right? It's not about that. It's how a complete team can come together. I got Land on the Moon for sale. If anybody think that Russell Wilson will come to Dallas for free 99, I got plenty of land on the moon. Matter of fact, I got unsinkable land in Florida. Here's the reality. Regardless of the situation, Cowboy Nation, the Dallas Cowboys will either have to sign Dak Prescott, then trade. It will be foolish of all foolishness if they allow the brother to walk for free 99. Nobody does that, right? In the history of time, nobody will do that, especially on the caliber of quarterback that you got. Regardless of the situation. Remember what Nietzsche said, do not spoil. Oh, it wasn't Nietzsche. It was somebody who said it. You guys can post it down below. Do not spoil what you have by desiring the things that you don't. Because at some point in time, the thing that you do have was something you dreamed for. Right? So, here's the situation. We would know more about this team and the direction that they're going to go. I think it's March the 9th, right? We would know. We will flat out know. And it will be no more ruminating and all of this. We would flat out know. Now, Dak Prescott, I have to say this, shout out to him and his beautiful, I believe we can say fiance, according to like the pictures and things like that. The lady that he's with, she got a engagement ring, is on the ring finger. So maybe he's out there doing more than just posing for the cameras in the sand. You know, maybe the guy got on one knee. You know what I'm talking about. Shout out to him. It's always good to start developing your family, your empire, and all of those good things. So shout out to him for that, right? All right, so the franchise tag, the exclusive and the non-exclusive, remember this. Just because a third of the Cowboy Nation may be having some type of ill feelings towards Dak Prescott. I think some people will say, hey, he's greedy, right? Dak Prescott is greedy. But then some people will say, hey, he's not getting paid his just costs, or he's not getting paid the remuneration that he's supposed to have, right? I get the argument, right? Nevertheless, regardless of the outcome, I believe in 2021, he's going to get some type of bread regardless, whether or not the Cowboys open up that paycheck or some other team. And I'm guaranteeing you, some other team was like, hey, give me that. Give me that. Because now, here's another thing that I got to put out there. A lot of people say, well, he's an 8-8 quarterback. 8-8. How many times Dak Prescott went 8-8? Oh, one time. But if that labeling stick on him for one time, and of course, last season was horrible. And by any chance of anybody that can ever see any stretch of football, we was historically bad on defense. But this is not me trying to give an excuse and a battle cry saying, Dak Prescott is my man. No. It's not that. But what I'm saying is that got to look at the bigger picture. So, with that being said, I wonder if Watson, Deshaun, would ever get that tag of being what was he, like 0-9 against playoff teams or winning teams? Or was it like 1-10? It could have been one of those numbers. It's a horrible number. Oh, the Aaron Rodgers, 0-42 against teams that's above 500, leading in the fourth quarter at the time. So there's so many room to go at when you start talking about numbers and remunerations of players' money pockets and things like that. So many gray areas, right? So let's just put that on the shelf for right now. Let's talk about the draft, baby. Let's talk about this draft situation. The Dallas Cowboys possesses the 10th overall pick in the 2021 draft. I'm with the philosophy of BPA, best player available. But before you get to dance in the draft, I look at the need category. Law, where are you going with the storyline? Well, here's my storyline with the need. You can solidify majority of your need through free agency. That's the bottom line. Free agency would be the area where you got a known commodity, but you got to circumvent that known commodity and bring that known commodity to your team. How do you do that, Law? Well, first and foremost, the Cowboys got to get off the pot. Look, you can't just be sitting there. You got to figure out a way to get off the pot and either make some stuff happen, don't go on vacation. I know that you guys are billionaires with the B and love to spend time and drink some wine. Jerry Wine Jones and John Stephen Jones love to spend time, away from the football field to throw back some, right? The libation for the nation. But you got to figure this free agency part out. But in order for you to do that, you got to do something with number 4. See, I didn't say his name in that. You got to do something with number 4. All right. Here's what they can do. I'm looking at 2 critical need areas, and I'm not going to say the player name and be like, oh, yeah, Cowboys need to do this or bust. But the interior of the defense, that's one area, and the safety play. So now that if you can answer some of those solutions or fill in some of those needs at that spot, you can go into the draft with your chest out a little bit, look at that situation and say, okay, I'm BPA all day. Every day, looking at the best player available. So with the 10th overall draft pick in the 2021 draft, if it's a offensive tackle you need because Tyron Smith's tooth is long, right? Or if you still have your reservations on a La'el Collins, regardless of his agent saying that, hey, he's not thinking about retirement. The craziest thing about rumors, you don't have to answer to all of them. And it wasn't like it was a big wildfire of rumors, right? I don't have to make a video saying that, hey, Law Nation got a beard, right? Somebody don't have to speak on my behalf and say, well, Law Nation got a beard. It's given fact that I got one, right? You guys can just turn on the camera and see that I got one, right? It's a story of a different day. All right, so those are the facts of the nature, right? So, BPA, if they do decide to say, okay, this is the best player available with the 10th pick, they go with the offensive guy. Of course, Offense for the last few years been in the top 10. That's just how it's been, right? Defense is where we've been having our warts at. And of course, not to just put everything on the defense, of course, offensive efficiency. Scoring in the money zone, red zone, that's something that Dak Prescott needed to improve on. Not just him, Ezekiel Elliott, as well as Kellen Moore, the young guy that's calling the plays. But that falls on the head of the general manager. Well, wait a minute, Lord, general manager don't call plays. Well, the owner and all of these things. Why? Because they empower the young coach. Well, Lord, what are you saying? Well, let me put it in these terms. When you're young, you got things called growing pains. And that's what we've seen for the last few years. Kellen Moore going through growing pains. You know, you already know, new broom can sweep the floor good, but them old brooms can get the corners, right? Growing pains. But in that second round, third round, even though I believe in the belief of BPA, you need to take a real good look at defense. You do. Because I'm looking for somebody that you can build with Trayvon Diggs, build with Donovan Wilson, help out D-Law on that front four. Randy Gregory, he can blaze as much if he want now with no repercussions, so we ain't worried about him. So if we can help out the interior, and not to throw Randy Gregory, there's nothing wrong with blazing some plants, but you guys get what I'm saying, and don't think that was a joke. But I'm just saying, we don't have to worry about that. We can sleep good at night, right? So we looking at all of these things. This team can be changed just like that. But the ownership, the fish rots from the head, right? All the way down to the little tail. Jerry Wayne Jones and John Steven Jones. Oh, I'm sorry, Jerry Wine Jones. Let's get this thing going. Let's get it going in the best way, the right way possible. Mike Florio, as Mike Fisher lamented, show your work about the Russell Wilson. Wanting got his eyes set on the Dallas Cowboys. And keep in mind, Cowboy Nation, what would you give for Russell? Objectively speaking, not to throw off anybody who's all on one side of the situation with Dak Prescott. What would you say? What would you give for Russell Wilson? Or what would you get in return if you put that tender on Dak Prescott, right? Because you ultimately got to sign and hope that he do sign and trade. Don't crucify me, but at this point, you already got continuity with the wide receivers, the running back. What will you guys think of bringing in a whole new quarterback? They got to build rapport. And I know rapport is something that you can probably do like this if you're a veteran quarterback, because Tom Brady just did it with the Buccaneers, right? So post me your thoughts, post me your concerns, because the Seattle Seahawks, they're not going to look at it and say, okay, we're going to get rid of Russell Wilson for $3.99, trade for trade. No. They're going to want some first-round draft picks, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. That's how crazy this thing can be. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute.